Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to talk about something super interesting and important, especially for educators, trainers, and anyone who wants to teach or guide adults effectively. We are diving into the world of adult learning principles. Now you might be thinking, how is learning for adults different from learning for kids? Great question. Adults approach learning with unique needs and motivations. And understanding these principles can make a huge difference in how effectively they learn. So, whether you're a teacher, a manager, or just someone curious about how adults learn, stick around and we'll find out. So, let's get into it. The first thing we are going to talk about is the foundation of adult learning, Andragogy. Now, let's get some terminology out of the way. When we talk about adult learning, we often use the term andragogy. This was popularized by Malcolm Knowles, who laid out the key principles of how adults learn best. Think of andragogy as the art and science of helping adults learn. How pedagogy is for kids. So what makes adult learning so unique? It boils down to 6 key principles that we are going to talk. Let's start with the first principle. Adults need to know why they are learning something. Unlike kids who might just learn because they are told to, adults are much more purpose-driven. They want to know, why is this important? How will it help me in my life or my work? Is it worth my time? Imagine this. You are in a training session and the instructor says, we are going to learn about Excel formulas today. If they don't explain why these formulas matter or how they'll save your time at work, it's hard to stay motivated, right? As a teacher or trainer, it's your job to connect the dots for adult learners. Start by explaining the relevance of what they are learning. For example, today we are learning Excel formulas because they'll help you analyze data faster and make better business decisions. The second principle is a big one. Adults bring their life experiences into the learning process. Think about it. Adults have a wealth of knowledge, skills, and perspectives that they have built up over time. This is both a blessing and a challenge. It's a blessing because their experiences can enrich discussions and make learning more relatable. It's a challenge because they might also come with preconceived notions or habits that need to be unlearned. As an instructor, you can tap into this by encouraging learners to share their experiences. For example, if you're teaching a communication workshop, ask, what's a time you had a miscommunication at work? How did you handle it? When adults feel like their experiences are valued, they are more engaged and open to learning. Next up is adults are self-directed learners. Here's the thing, adults like to have control over their learning journey. They don't want to be spoon-fed. They want to explore, discover, and take charge of their own growth. For example, imagine you're hosting a workshop on time management. Instead of lecturing for an hour, give participants the chance to identify their biggest time wasters and brainstorm solutions. You're acting as a guide, not a dictator. And if you are learning something new on your own, embrace that self-direction. Use resources like online courses, books, or podcasts that let you learn at your own pace. The fourth principle is all about relevance. Adults learn best when the material is immediately applicable to their lives. If you're teaching something abstract, adults might tune out unless you show them how it connects to their goals. For example, if you're teaching budgeting, don't just talk about spreadsheets. Show them how tracking expenses can help save for a vacation or pay off the debt. Relevance equals motivation. The more learners see how the material solves their problems or meets their needs, the more engaged they'll be. Another key principle is that adults are problem solvers. They are not just looking to learn for the sake of learning. They want solutions to real world challenges. Think of it this way: if a manager comes to a workshop on conflict resolution, they're likely dealing with a tough situation at work or wanting to prevent it. They are not interested in theories. They want actionable strategies to handle disagreements effectively. As a trainer, frame your lessons around problems. Instead of saying, "Today we are covering communication models," say, "Today we are going to learn how to resolve workplace conflicts more effectively." Lastly, adults are mostly motivated by internal factors like personal growth, career advancement, or the desire to master a skill. Sure, external rewards like promotions or certifications can help, but the real driver is usually intrinsic. For example, a professional might take a course on public speaking because they want to feel more confident, not just because their boss told them to. To tap into this, as a teacher or trainer, focus on helping learners see the personal value of what they're doing. Ask questions like, "How will this skill make my life easier? What's one thing you'll feel proud of after mastering this?" All right, now that we have covered the theory, let's get into the practical stuff. Here are some tips for applying these principles in real life teaching or training situations. Tip number 1: make learning interactive. Adults learn best when they are actively involved. Use activities like group discussions, case studies, or hands-on exercises to keep things engaging. For example, in a leadership workshop, have participants role play different scenarios, like giving constructive feedback to an employee. Tip number 2: use real-world examples. Bring in examples that adults can relate to. If you're teaching financial literacy, use scenarios like creating a household budget or managing credit card debt. Tip number 3: encourage reflection. Give learners time to reflect on what they are learning and how it applies to their life. You can ask questions like, "What's one thing you learned today that you can use immediately?" Tip number 4: provide choice. Whenever possible, give learners options. For example, in a professional development course, let participants choose between learning negotiation skills or time management first. Now you might be wondering, why does this even matter? Well, understanding these principles isn't just for teachers or trainers. It's for anyone who wants to create meaningful learning experiences for adults. This could be a manager onboarding a new employee, a parent helping their teenager with life skills, or even you trying to teach yourself a new skill. When we respect how adults learn, we make the process more effective and enjoyable. To wrap this up, let's take a quick look at how adult learning is evolving. With technology like online courses, virtual reality, and AI, learning is becoming more flexible and personalized. But at its core, the principles we talked about today still apply. Whether you're learning in a classroom or through an app, adults thrive when learning is purposeful, relevant, and engaging. And that's a wrap on adult learning principles. To quickly recap, today we learned why adults need to know. To quickly recap, we learned today adults need to know the why. They bring life experience to the table. They are self-directed. They learn best when it's relevant. They are problem solvers. They are motivated by internal factors. If you are teaching, training, or learning as an adult, keep these principles in mind. They'll transform the way you They'll transform the way you approach learning. If you find this video helpful, please like, subscribe, and share it with someone who might benefit. And let me know in the comments what's a learning experience that really clicked for you as an adult. I love to hear your stories. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Until then, keep learning and keep growing. Bye-bye.